Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. My name's Connor Williams, and this is the match reaction from the Everton Nottingham Forest game that is finished 2-0 today. It's just my initial reaction, quick 10-minute thought, and a little bit of a talk through it. First things first, desperately needed, especially after Luton's loss to Brentford at the weekend. Needed to really, it put us in a position where we could really have done with stamping our foot a little bit and going, this is our chance to show that we're not going to take this line down and we're going to fight. If we'd rolled over here, I think it'd have especially after the 5-0 thrashing by, 6 was it, to Chelsea, it would have give the impression that we're done. So it was good that we came out with a win. It shows that we're not done, and it's gave us a nice gap from Forest and an even nicer gap from Luton. We'll get onto it towards the end, but I genuinely think this puts us in really good stead to start looking at a little bit away from it. But we'll get into that at the end. But yeah, 2-0. Started off with a great goal from Idrissa Gana-Gueye. A man who, every time he's 25 yards out, everyone goes, please don't hit it, please don't hit it. It's it. Normally it's some poor lad in row Z. And you're there like, why'd you do it? Why'd you hit these pot shots? This time, under no pressure, 25 yards out, shoots low. And although it appears like he lacks effort, it skids off the surface past Sells, who I think didn't really get a good view of it either. As he's nowhere near it, as it goes in the bottom left. Yeah, I don't think. I think this is a bit of a collector's item for Idrissa Gueye. Don't know if that would give it if I was him, if I'd be trying that all the time like he does. But it's a good goal, and it's a goal nonetheless. You're not going to complain, especially when we're where we are. You're not going to go, oh, that goal could have been better, or ooh, that goal could have been nicer. So yeah. Second thing before we get on to the second goal, fantastic save by Jordan Pickford as well. Unbelievable. I think that's a real, if they'd scored then the game changes hugely. Chris Wood nods it down to that Giovanni Reina, who puts it into the path of Gibbs White. He gets a volley off the ground and off target, but luckily for them, unluckily for us, Chris Wood's there to blast it towards goal, and Pickford makes himself big and really smothers it, then catches Hudson-Odoi's cross. It was a fantastic save by Pickford. Pickford really did play well here, kept us in it. I still think his kicking and decision-making in his kicks could do with being enhanced, but shot stopper, I don't think anyone can have problems with that. I know he had a bit of a howler at Chelsea, but that's the type of guy you want, isn't it? Had a howler at Chelsea, then came and redeemed himself the next game. It's exactly what you want. I did think after the break, before the break, the 15 minutes before it and the 15 to 20 minutes after, we weren't at the races. That first, up until Dwight McNeil's goal in the 76th minute, I honestly thought Forest were going to get an equaliser. Every time we had the ball, we were either turning backwards, as just the players looked like they were turning back because they either didn't have the confidence, didn't know how to, just didn't want to. I don't know. It just seemed like we weren't playing it forward, and if we did, it was balls into the channels where no one was really there for Calvert-Lewin to chase down. Calvert-Lewin did have a chance, but he'd sliced the opportunity. It was tough. It was really tough. It is worth pointing out as well, 3 penalty shouts for Forest. Watched them back on the replays a couple of times. I think the one where he kicks the foot of, I can't remember the Forest player now, the young lad. Don't think that's a foul, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think that's a foul. I don't think the handball is a handball. I guess you could say it's an unnatural position, but it'd be a tough one to give. The one on Morgan Gibbs White on Hudson-Odoi though, by Ashley Young, I think the one on Hudson-Odoi is a penalty. Ashley Young's caught ball watching, tries to recover, puts in a slide tackle, um, and I can see why Anthony Taylor didn't give it. In real time, because in real time and from a certain angle in the replays, it doesn't look like a foul. But when they switched it to a different angle, you can see he gets none of the ball. Um, and I'm surprised VAR didn't give it. I think that's the one. I'm really surprised that VAR didn't give it. They obviously did have a couple more chances. Gibbs White could have finished it. And then Dwight McNeil, he's tried this a couple of times, hasn't he? We've seen this a bit from Dwight McNeil in a bit of space, struck it low and hard, and it's just rattled off the post. And I had this horrible feeling it was going to rattle off the post, hit the other post, and come out, but it just managed to go over that. Managed to hit the post and go over the line. And then I think from then we sort of looked a lot better. It's almost like that gave us that 2 goal gap. I don't know why we don't push for it all the time. But it gave us a lot more of a sort of an energy about us. And we looked a lot better. I don't think there was much else that like we just looked like we were attacking with a bit more intent. Dwight McNeil did go for another one that went straight at the keeper's hands. But Goodison was, I think once that second goal went in, Goodison were up, ready for it. Forest did have another penalty shout that was Chris Wood with Tarkowski with the overhead kick. I think it's Tarkowski's. Firstly, I think they were both wrestling. Tarkowski did have his arm over Woods, but Woods is already going down to try and do the overhead kick. So his arm is going to be near his head because he's lowering his body. And I think he's backing into Tarkowski, and Tarkowski's got every right to battle back for that. The handball shot, it hits his face for me. It's at his face. So I don't think that was probably one of their weaker penalty shouts of the whole game. To be honest, the only one that I'd really think was Ashley Young's. I think that could have really been one. A couple of cards were picked up towards the end. Nothing really to say about Harrison. Got one for a cynical tactical foul. Branfoy got one for telling the referee who should be booking. There was a bit of a nasty fall for Nico Williams as well when he went over the rail, over the advertisement boarding. That looked quite nasty. Luckily, he was okay. That could have been a really nasty one. And then unfortunately, there was a very nasty clash of heads between Gibbs White and Beto. Beto was down for a while. Dwight McNeil's reactions sort of insinuated it was a bad one and the call for the stretcher straight away. Beto had not long come on either, so it was a bit of a shame to see that. He did put his thumbs up towards the end while getting oxygen. So yeah, it was unfortunate. I think Everton had tweeted out that he was knocked unconscious and he's going to a medical facility as a precaution. Hopefully he's okay. But yeah, glad to see him responsive and put his thumbs up. But yeah, nasty, nasty one. In terms of the game as a whole, I think I had it as a bit of a draw, and I think it could have been a draw if penalty decisions had gone their way. Like I said, I think there's only one that I think viably I looked at and was like, that is a pen, and that was the Ashley Young on Hudson-Odoi. I think the rest were a bit. I'd be annoyed if they were given. Apart from the Hudson-Odoi one, where I'd be annoyed if that wasn't given for us. I'd be quite, annoyed at that. Where does it leave us in the grand scheme of things? Leaves us on 30 points, 4 points clear of Forest now with 4 goals, better goal difference. 20 leaves us 5 points clear of Luton as well, and we have a game in hand. That is the derby. So yeah, but I think now realistically, if we beat Luton, because Luton have tough and Luton lose the rest. I mean, if Luton lose all of their games anyway, but I think they'll get one win back in them. So we need another win somewhere, and if that can come against Luton, that would stunt them and give us that extra gap. If we get I think 33 points, 34. Brentford are fine on 35. If we can get near them, I think we'll be safe. 10 points clear at this stage. So yeah, I think obviously it all depends on results, and this isn't an absolute mathematical. We get one more win and we're safe. But I think if we do get one more win on the chances of probability of who Luton's games are, I think we probably are going to be okay. Forest have a couple of, I think they've got Chelsea and City but then they've got Burnley and Sheffield United. I imagine they will probably beat the bottom two. Um, so, I'm not holding out much hope there. In terms of Luton, they've got Wolves next. Tough game, really tough game for them. But they've got Wolves, us, West Ham, Fulham. Wolves are tough, but not impossible. They beat us twice this season. West Ham tough, but not impossible. They've just been battered like by Palace. And Fulham last day when they got nothing to play for. Tough, but not impossible. So we do need to pick up a couple more wins. I genuinely think one might be enough, but if we could pick up a couple more leading into the end, like I said, that Luton one, I think, is one that we should be looking at trying to win, almost definitely, because they're around us. But we've also got Sheffield United, Brentford as well. That are two, I think, more than winnable games. And then our other two games are Liverpool and Arsenal. I'm not holding out much hope for the derby, and I'm hoping it's all wrapped up by the time we play Arsenal final day of the season. So yeah, that's all we have time for. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and comment down below your thoughts on the game. Look forward to reading them. I'll see you soon.